to beat the defending champs 3-2. A Bruins team has now beaten Tampa and Florida in back-to-back games after some franchise-altering trades last week.
Bruins winners tonight. What a game. The team has some heart. The team battled back. And they won the game all night long. I said, oh, wow. How are they going to blow this one? And they didn't. And I almost feel like I don't want to get ahead of myself after 2 wins against Tampa Bay and Florida, but is there something different in the locker room? They play hard. Tonight, they showed physicality. Tonight, they showed that they can come back. Tonight, they showed that they're still alive in the playoffs, in the playoff hunt. Did Nikita Zadorov in the stick incident get him going a little bit with tonight, that big fight? Oh, that was great on Bennett. That was awesome. Is Swayman starting to turn the corner? Are we seeing a 2.0 version of the Bruins? Pastrnak started things off. Lowry with a goal. Zacha, the go-ahead. One thing's clear, they hate Florida, and I love it. I'm already looking ahead to the next game, Ullmark versus Swayman. Will we see Swayman again? Tonight was a fun game. Not bullied at all. Came down from, 2-0? 3 unanswered? And held the lead late? Is this the new Bruins hockey? We'll leave it there. We'll line up the phone lines. You're coming home from the game tonight. What's different? 617-779-0985. What's different? Also, did anybody have a chance to check out the best snow day ever? I'm curious. We're here till 11 o'clock tonight, reacting from the Bees win. Skaz is here. I'm Joe Murray. We'll take a quick break. You're listening to 98.5 The Sports Hub.
More Joe Murray coming up on The Sports Hub. Everybody knows Joe.
Just keeps getting better.
Joe Murray on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Pastrnak settles it and gives it on to the right circle for Lindholm.
They're just aggressive all over. Look at wide open in front.
Right in front, chance, Pastrnak scores! Middlestead out of the right corner. Pasta was all by himself in front. It's 2-1.
They're so aggressive that if you move the puck quickly, someone's going to be wide open.
All right, back here, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Bob Beers calling it out again ahead of time. Seeing the play before it happens. Great call there, Ryan Johnston, Bob Beers. David Pastrnak got it going tonight in Middlestead with the assist. I'm a little shocked. I'm not going to lie to you guys right now. I thought this team tonight, emotional. Certainly, when you saw the lineups, you're like, eh. But Mason Low-Rise said something in postgame tonight. He said that there's still belief in that locker room. They all looked around and believe in each other. So I'm wondering if there's some sort of redemption tour, revenge tour. Marchand was the leader, but there's still talent here. We'll get into the Marchand thing in a bit. This is about Pastrnak setting the tone. This is about Low-Rise taking the next step. This is about Pavel Zacha being one of the better players on the team tonight. That's what it's about. And again, Bruins-Panthers, here we go. Get your popcorn ready. Bees down 2-0 tonight. Score 3 goals in just under 7 minutes in the third period. Win 3-2 over the defending Stanley Cup champions at home. Remember when this team couldn't even score a goal in the third period? Again, Pastrnak, Low-Rise, Zacha. Think of those names. Right? The Panthers have had this shutout streak against the Bruins for a while now. But early on, it was all Panthers, right? They outshot the Bees. Bees couldn't do nothing offensively. It was somewhat of they sleptwalked through that first period. But, they battled back. They battled back tonight. Bobrovsky was a little lazy, I thought, at times tonight. Morgan Geekie had a shot in this one. And just looking at tonight's game, something's changed here. It's 2 games, I get it. It's 2 games, but there was a different energy tonight. A different energy. And I know when it's Bruins-Panthers, maybe that's what you get. But there was some momentum after those power plays. Lindholm with a nice pass tonight. Another assist for him. He had another chance on the power play. I just wanted to highlight a couple of these players tonight. And I'm just looking at time on ice. Zacha, 20 minutes. Pastrnak, 21. Middlestead played just over 16. Lindholm played over 17. And then it was Morgan Geekie. Like, that's what they're going to lean on. Now, Kastelik truly is a fourth liner now. Hustinov? He had a couple of hits out there tonight. Kepke, again, had a couple of blocks out there and a couple of shots on net. Just looking at it, it seems like they've eliminated something. It's easy for me to point to Marchand, Coyle, Carlo. All I know is something must have been said in that locker room about belief and believing in each other. They're 2 points out of the playoffs right now. I'm not trying to get ahead of myself. Hey, listen, I've been consistent in saying I think they're closer to the lottery than the playoffs. 2 wins against Florida? Woo.
It's just nonstop belief. We got so much belief in that room, and it really shows. You just stick to it. You got a lot of guys that are just playing for each other and playing for the logo on the front. And, it makes it really fun.
Was that a shot? Skaz, that's why I brought that up. When I heard that, that's Mason Lowry, what, a second-year player, whatever it is, who's now taking on a bigger role, bigger responsibility without Lindholm and without McAvoy. I think a lot of guys this year were making their own business decisions. Did they eliminate that? Mason Lowry, who had an impact in tonight's win, by the way. Hey, it's about the name on the front, not the name. Ooh. Skaz, your takeaways from tonight.
Yeah, I was impressed tonight. They looked, I don't want to say awful, but they didn't look good through 2 periods, that's for sure. And this is a team that has struggled to score third-period goals at home all season. This is a team that has struggled at home all season. So, went into that third period thinking this one's over. They're going to lay down again, and they did the exact opposite. I was really impressed with the Bruins tonight. Pastrnak was all over the place, making impact plays on both ends. I thought he was throwing his body around a little bit. The middle stat has made good plays time and time again. You mentioned ice time for some of these guys. Lowry's a guy that played 20 minutes tonight. That's a guy stepping up who you need to step up. And I'll admit it too, Joe. When he said that comment, my ears kind of perked up. I thought, oh, that's interesting. And then, we do the sports radio thing, Joe. That's our job. We gave Jeremy Swayman quite a bit of grief this offseason and at the beginning of the season for his contract talks and for that affecting the team and starting slow and Swayman not being, ready to go. What if the captain of your hockey team was, letting contract talks, fester in the locker room and, impact play during the season? That's, obviously we're reaching, but when your team responds like this, 2 games in a row, you beat the Lightning 4-0, and then you have a 3-goal, outburst, and for them, a 3-goal outburst in the third period is you don't even recognize them. So I definitely thought that was an interesting comment after the game.
Very. I liked it. It popped. I heard it. Stood out to me. I just want to reiterate. I've been consistent in saying I think they're closer to the lottery than the playoffs. But they have a game against Ottawa coming up that could impact the playoffs. And listen, I somewhat wanted the team to, I don't want to say the word tank. I thought they didn't have it this year. This is something to be excited about. I'm glad I watched tonight's game. This is a new-look Bruins team. It's refreshing. I don't think they're Stanley Cup contenders, okay? I'm not going to go that far. But sometimes subtracting someone can mean a lot. And I don't know. Hearing that right there just kind of stood out to me. One other thing. Can I credit Joe Sacco? Is that all right? Putting these lines together, keeping the guys interested, positive, aggressive offensively when they were down. There was a couple of I guess I would call them penalty kills where I actually thought they were better tonight. They were better on the power play, no doubt about that. Sometimes I don't know how to evaluate Sacco, but keeping this thing together, I think he deserves some credit for that.
Yeah, I'm with you. We've definitely hammered him after some bad losses and stuff like that, and they've had 2 good wins in a row after some adversity, at the trade deadline. A lot of the teams, don't look like this or don't bounce back in this way. So, yeah, I give Sacco credit. And you mentioned Bob, like seeing things before they happen on the ice. He kept harping on the middle of the ice, that the Panthers are so aggressive that the middle of the ice opened up. And it seemed like Sacco was seeing that too because they adjusted. They were sending Pastrnak to the middle of the ice, Zacha to the middle of the ice later in that game. So, that's something I saw. Well, that's something Bob saw, and then I saw it, which is usually how it goes. So, yeah, I think Sacco does deserve credit for that tonight.
Just to go back to the beginning of the year, I thought that there were some areas where I thought the Bruins would struggle, and one of them I thought was they were slow. Don't they look like they have more speed now?
They just look more engaged. I don't know. Yeah, I'll agree. They looked less slow. Even Zadorov looked less slow tonight, so I don't know what that's about. And Joe Swayman, that's 2 good games in a row. A guy that's, again, hasn't been great, but he was tremendous on Saturday, and he was good enough again tonight.
When I say speed, they were a heavy team. Maybe there was an albatross on the roster in general where they just looked heavy. I don't know. To me, youth, speed, I see it. It's 2 games.
Yeah, they're going to the Cup.
Yeah. Hey, listen. I think it's worth reacting to this game. They were down 2-0 against the defending Stanley Cup champions at home when their former captain was in the building being emotional all day.
Was he in the building, Joe? I didn't see him. Did you see him during the game?
I did not see him during the game. He was at practice earlier today.
He was at morning skate this morning.
So I can't confirm that he was at the game.
I haven't seen anyone confirm it. I'm not sure he was in the building tonight, Joe, which is another thing that's just a little interesting.
There's no love for that team, man. Zadorov Bennett, give me that one again, please.
Worth the contract, I've seen on Twitter now. Bruins fans happy with the contract after that.
I killed him for the stick. I was really just being a little hyperbolic. You make so much money, go buy a better stick, that kind of stuff, Maybe the stick moment's the one for Zadorov to get him off the, you know what I mean? Like he finally became a Bruin. Anyways. Some people in our chat are like, wow, win a couple of games, and whoa. No, I think that the team deserves some credit for beating the Lightning and the defending Stanley Cup champions after just literally gutting their roster and going into tank mode. And they've won 2 in a row, and Swayman's playing again? Like they didn't blow a lead. You can react to it at 617-779-0985. Jim in Florida. Hey, Jim.
Hey, Joe. Great game. Loved it. I want to say something about Pastrnak. He's had the most goals and the most points since January 1st. If he keeps that up, if he's the player that has the most points and most goals by the end of the season and the Bruins make the playoffs, he should get MVP votes.
I'm not ready to go there, Jim, but I will tell you this.
That's why I'm going to watch these games. I mean, that's a reason to watch these games.
Maybe it's a reason to show other players, hey, Boston's a destination. Like, there's money to spend and there's spots available. And next year, we're just looking to retool, not rebuild.
He was terrific tonight. My favorite play of the game, third period, Seth Jones, Pastrnak going to the corner. Pastrnak nailed Seth Jones. I looked at him like, is that Cam Neely out there? I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, you know what? I got a hot take. Not even air frying this one. It's like I want to throw it right on the grill. The players had too much control of the coach. They had too much control over the years. Firing guys, Cassidy, Montgomery, and even when they had their best season ever, Bergeron probably wasn't ready to play, but was like, I need to be out there. And every game that he was out there, they lost. Every game. And the players just always somewhat had control of the roster. It's gone now. maybe Pastrnak feels like he can play a certain way now or has to now because it's just him and now he needs to set the example. Like Zacha, score. They actually use scheme to have an unanswered 3 goals. Sometimes you got to get the veterans out of there. Brendan's in Hanover. Hey, Brendan.
Hey, guys. How are you? Yeah, great game tonight. I was there with a couple buddies. I really just like how this team is just, it seems that they're like gritty. Obviously the new era, 2-0. I want to point out a couple players, honestly. Mason Lohrei, he's been phenomenal as of late. Obviously you got McAvoy and Lindholm out. He's got to take that big role, and I think he really is, producing a lot this season. And I think, Casey Middlestat, obviously we were questioning the trade, obviously the Coyle sent him to Colorado, but I thought he's looked great the past 2 games. And obviously, Zadorov at the end over Bennett. I mean, what could you ask for?
Brendan,
awesome,
it's kind of like everybody is now taking it upon themselves to step up. And, I mentioned Lohrei because he's a nice story. Like, he's had his mistakes, but as far as moving forward, he's a big part of this. I do think that Pastrnak is playing differently. He is more physical. It's different. I got to give him credit for it. We have to go to break. I see you guys lined up. You're coming home from the game. We can react to it. I am curious about how the Garden was tonight. Bird just texted me. Said he looked through the suites but didn't find Marchand. So sources on the ground, no Marchand that we know of. Because again, I don't know if Florida would, did they send out like a press release like he's in the building or anything like that? No? All right. Well, I see you guys lined up on the phone lines. Also, we're at the studio, so we don't have the Nesson 360 or whatever. I'm just curious, did anyone watch the game, the best snow day ever? Because I've read the ads all year long, so I want my payoff, So did anybody see it? I'm just curious. And there was a move today that happened in the AFC East that I think the Patriots might need to counter. We'll do that after the headlines. I'm Joe Murray here in the Sports Hub.
Sports Hub headlines presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Bruins 3-2 winners tonight over the defending Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers. It started off with David Pasternak's goal, then followed by Mason Lohrei and Pavel Zacha. Listen, it's easy for me to sit here and stir the pot that Marchand's gone, Carlo's gone, Coyle's gone, Frederick, no McAvoy, no Lindholm. And yet Pastrnak is now elevating, potentially playing some of the best hockey. Because remember the perfection line, right? Looking pretty good to me. Big hits in the corner, setting the tone with goals. I've been critical of Pastrnak. I don't want to say this is the best I've ever seen him, but he's on a scoring. He's the only guy who could score times this year. But seeing Zacha get going, ooh, that was good. And Lowry, like that was a snipe. I'm going to temper my expectations a little bit. They play Ottawa on Thursday. What did Ottawa do tonight? I actually didn't even look. I know they played. Oh, they won 5-2. Brady Tkachuk with a goal in that one. Allmark played because he's on the back-to-back, right? Yeah, they had Forsberg. So this brings up the next question. You're getting Allmark on Thursday because he didn't play tonight. Are you getting Swayman? You got to ride the hot hand, right? Don't give me this. No, I want my Swayman versus Allmark and no goalie hugs. Out. I want it to be like tonight. 3 seconds left in the game and you're punching Bennett in the face. No goalie hugs. Connor's in the car. Hey, Connor.
Hey, Joe, big fan of the show. Season ticket holder, I know that you were asking about the atmosphere in the building. Probably all year, this was probably the most kind of upbeat the crowd has been. It was pretty energetic in there, pretty young crowd for a Tuesday night. So besides the fire Sweeney chants that happened during the first and the second period, great energy in the building. I thought that was really good. The best snow day ever. Pretty funny that it was 60 degrees today. But it kind of had big like backyard sports vibes. So it was cool to see that stuff on the Jumbotron. And one other thing I wanted to touch on, we were talking about Lindholm earlier, 17 minutes or so, really strong in the face-off tonight, losing Coyle in the middle of the ice. We were getting pounded by the Panthers the last two playoff series on face-offs. And Lindholm on the forecheck, he had 2 straight shifts that he was hitting. Great on the forecheck, created a few opportunities. So, you know, those guys, Zadorov, Lindholm, they got those big D grades from the free agent signings this week. So it's nice to see those guys step up. Definitely a different energy, and obviously not going to go as far as thinking that they're Stanley Cup contenders, but different energy out of the team tonight, and something that I really haven't seen all season being in the building.
That's what you'd rather watch. You'd rather watch that than a team with talent that plays not to their level. You would rather this.
You just see so many Bruins teams that they roll out over the last couple of years. Like they'll go, 2 or 3 games, they'll start playing well, then they'll just throw an egg, especially against good teams. So you look at the Tampa win, you look at the Florida win. If they can get production out of their second and third line, new wingers, and Middlestat looked great tonight. And if they can get some secondary scoring, then, it sets up pretty good for going into next season when some of those younger pieces, Fraser Minton, potentially can come in and play well. So it's inspiring. It's a little hopeful, but, there's still a few pieces away from being serious contenders. And they just got big to try to compete with Florida, and they're faster now. So we'll see how it goes. Big fan of the show, Joe.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. Didn't think about that whole face-off center of the ice getting beat by Florida, those previous matchups, because remember they couldn't score against them? Maybe a little bit of coaching there tonight. Maybe there's some faster guys in the middle. I think they're faster.
Well, Joe, if you want fast guys, you got to go out and get fast guys.
One take on the Patriots real quick, and then we'll wrap things up. Today, Joey Bosa signs with Buffalo. the Patriots have to get a tackle. Do I think the Patriots could have won 6 games this year with a better coaching staff? Absolutely. They couldn't stop the run, so I think they've really, during free agency, have really helped with the middle of their defense, just like the Bruins have upgraded the middle of their ice. But when you see pass rushers coming off the board, you need a tackle. Left tackle. You need it. Sean is in Methuen. Hey, Sean.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, man.
So, I'm a Bruins season ticket holder, and the 13th is literally the day that we decide if I want to keep my tickets or not. And I went to the game tonight, and I was still on the fence about keeping tickets. And I might be a sucker, but I feel like the team showed me enough tonight that I am bought in for one more year. And the Providence Bruins beat the Stanley Cup champions tonight, and that's amazing to me. Providence Bruins plus Pastrnak beat the Stanley Cup champions tonight.
I'll take it. Yeah, that season ticket holder thing. I will say this. Retool, at least through 2 games, I get it. But normally, when you trade away the best player or your captain, it doesn't work out for you. Take one more call, or do you want to go to breaks, guys? What should we do?
Yeah, you can take his call.
All right, let's go one more. Brian's up. I think I might have done something. Brian's in the truck. Hey, Brian.
Joe, I've seen the last 2 games. This team has gelled. It's almost like, I don't know, it's like the scene in Major League where they're they don't expect a lot from the team and they're throwing it all against the wall. I've seen the team gel and kind of come together and play together. 4-0 against Tampa. Tonight, you come from behind 2-0 versus the Florida Panthers. You're dead in the water, and they show you something that they haven't really showed you all year. I really, really think in my bones we got a wild card run in us. I don't know if we're going to make it, but I think we're going to make it close. I really do.
Feels it in his bones, everybody. I'm just saying this. I'm going to temper my expectations right now. Maybe it's somebody says the trade bump. I believe it. I believe there's a thing called the trade bump. But Mark, Thursday, score on him. Score on him and win an impactful game in a playoff hunt. I think they're closer to the lottery than the playoffs. But at this point, what do you got to lose? Try to go for it. All right, that's it for us, guys. Thank you, James Scaramuzzino. Excellent job tonight. We're back here tomorrow at 6 o'clock. Hopefully something breaks. And Celtics Thunder. Thunder. Celtics Thunder tomorrow night. It's a big one. A big one. We'll have it for you tomorrow night. Back here at 6 o'clock. I'm Joe Murray here on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Don't go anywhere. There's more Joe Murray